What's up, weirdos, and welcome to the Weirdoverse. We have a very special guest joining us today, author, evidential medium, and spiritual healer, Stacey Niedentohl. Stacey, welcome to the Weirdoverse.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's good to have you here. I am JD Ross. I forgot to mention that part up front, with our other co-host, Ashley Shue. Bethany could not join us for this particular episode, but that's okay. We're gonna have a good time. So Stacey, take us into, so what I don't know anything about the world that you are in. So tell us about you, tell us about what you do.
Okay, well, I'm an evidential medium, which means I have the ability to channel spirit, people who have passed that are on the other side. I only deal in love and light, so I don't deal with any type of negative energy or attachments or anything like that. As far as spiritual healing, I also send energy and work on the energy quadrants in the body.
Okay, that's awesome.
Okay.
So when did you first know that you had a gift for speaking to the other side?
Well, I honestly believe I've had it, of course, since I was smaller, since I was young, because of certain things that have happened once I opened up to spirit. But after my mom passed is when everything kind of a medium. And she brought my mom through, and then she pulled me to the side and had started to explain panic attacks and anxiety attacks that I had been having for a couple years before. And when I opened up to spirit, my panic attacks and anxiety went away. And now that I've been doing this for about 10 years, I realize that all that anxiety was spirit trying to get my attention.
Okay.
Now I can say, hold on, where before it was just a lot of noise around me. I mean, that's kind of the small, short version of it.
Do you think that a lot of people that have anxiety or things like that may have a connection that just don't know it?
Although I am not a counselor or a doctor, I have to emphasize that.
Yeah.
I do find that a lot of my students that I mentor into opening up to spirit have anxiety, and they've had anxiety.
Oh, wow.
Because when there's all that energy around you, it does. I mean, years ago when my husband and I would go to Gettysburg, we'd be walking and I felt like I was dodging things that were coming by me, and I was hearing and feeling and seeing things. I literally went to my doctor because I thought I was schizophrenic or dementia.
Right.
I couldn't have ticking clocks around me because it, felt like the walls were closing in. I'd literally sit in between Jeff's legs, who was my husband, and he'd put his hands on my shoulders because I felt like I was leaving my body. So I do feel a lot of times people who suffer from anxiety, it's spirit tapping on their shoulder.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that definitely makes sense. I mean, I could definitely see as a way for the spirit realm, trying to make itself known and and manifesting in a way that because I mean, we live in a sciencey world, so everyone immediately goes to the kind of conventional, like you said, maybe I have schizophrenia, maybe there's something wrong with me or something. That's really interesting though.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, when I went to my doctor, I mean, I was diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety disorder because of some of the things that had happened, some traumas in my past. And I went to a counselor. I worked through some of that. But until my mom got sick, she got sick in April and she passed in June. And that whole time frame, I was not feeling anxiety. However, Leo here, I was focused on my mom. So everything else left. So I was focused on mom.
Yeah.
And like I said, once she passed and I went and saw a medium, and this medium came to me and started explaining how I felt like, ticking time or ticking clocks were closing me in, or I felt like my throat was closing in. I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, you either need to open up or so, I talked to my husband about it. Born and raised in the church. So in some churches, what I do is wrong. So I had a long conversation with God, creator, the universe, however you see fit, and said, if this is what you want me to do, you have to put people in my path. And people just started showing up. I met a man 80 miles away from us who at a bike show. who ended up living just a few miles away from us afterwards. And he connected me with his sister who was in Colorado, who was coming to Hagerstown. And she did, a session for us. And, when I asked her to mentor me, she's like, I don't do what you do. I'm like, what do I do? She says, you talk to the dead. I'm like, no, I don't. And she hooked me up with a woman in Australia who I did a reading with, and then she started to mentor me. And the funny thing is, she goes, oh my goodness, you've had this all your life. And I'm like, no. She said, no, you've talked to ghosts for a long time. And I said, no. She said, did anyone, and she's doing the reading for me, and she's telling me this, did anyone ever tease you about having imaginary goats? And I'm like, oh my God, all my life. My parents would teach, because I would talk to my imaginary goats, and they weren't goats, they were ghosts.
Okay.
So because of my a little bit of a speech impediment there, right? So because I was made fun of, I pushed it to the side.
Yeah.
And then when she took me through a meditation for opening my third eye, I was instantly transported back into my bedroom in second grade, where I had this recurring nightmare of an eye chasing me around. Ooh. It was my third eye opening, but as second grader, why is this eye chasing me around? It was
scary,
right? Yeah. So spirit was respectful and thought, this little girl's afraid of things that go bump in the night, which, hey, still am. So they just kind of left me alone until I was ready.
So how do you see them? Like, how do you see, I know you see different things. I know you work with guides and spirit guides and that kind of thing. You see spirit and you talk to spirit. How do you see the different things, and how do you tell the difference between one and the other?
So I am more claircognizant than I am anything else. Sometimes I actually see spirit, but I just have a knowing.
Things so it's more of like a powerful intuition.
It's powerful intuition. So I just know that I know that I know. Sometimes I'll see them in my third eye. Sometimes it's just the way they approach me. Like if I feel their energy is either brother, sister, husband, wife, because they're on the same level as you. They come in like about my ears. I know this is grandmother, grandfather, uncle, depending on what side. And when they come through, I can feel if they're masculine or feminine. So it's hard to explain how I see them because I don't necessarily see them, but I know that they're there.
With eyes.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you're seeing beyond the physical.
Yes, correct. Correct. And we
kind of like an aura. It's there, but it's not always seeable with the eye.
Correct. Now I do see auras around people, so I can see color around them, but I don't always see their deceased loved one.
Right.
But I see it. No.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like a sixth sense.
Absolutely.
One of our coworkers had a strange question, and I wanted to throw this out there before I forgot. She wanted to know if you had ever communicated with anybody famous.
Actually, I did.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I did.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I was in a shop actually in Greencastle. And as I was doing this reading, this I kept seeing like this handwritten L. And she was like, I don't know what that is. And I'm like, I see a man flying this handwritten L. And I said, and she has this red hair and she's with your dad. Well, this woman's father was a pilot for Lucille Ball.
No way.
No
yes.
way.
So of course, instantly I'm like, okay, Tom, come on, Tom Petty, where you at? If I'm getting Lucille Ball, bring me Tom Petty.
If you can get me Lemmy, I need to talk to Lemmy. So
Lemmy. Yes, my husband knows him. Yes.
I'm a huge rocker,
or so knew I can't him.
Help it. Yeah. I met him once and it was phenomenal. So
he's a cool dude.
Yeah. So when you do see them, like when you see them more like when they I guess the spirit is more tangibly visible to you more so? Is it them trying to reach out more, or is it just kind of sometimes they are, sometimes they're not?
So when I do a reading for people,
Mm-hmm.
they're expecting their loved ones to come in, and they're asking their
Mm-hmm.
loved ones to come in. So when they do come in, not everybody that has a reading is going to get what they expect that they're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit gives you what you need, not what you think you need.
Okay.
So some people will come in and say, I just need to know if I'm making the right decision. Well, Dad didn't say you weren't. And they have a different understanding. They don't have the human feelings that we have. They understand the reasons why you're doing the things that you're doing. So, of course, they're not going to say, hey, dummy, why are you doing it that way? You know, now I have
Yeah.
had spirit come in and say to me, ask her why she's not married yet. And I'm like, what? So I said, are you married? No. Well, your grandmother's wanting to know why you're not married yet. Oh, I've been with this man for 7 years and she hated that we lived together and we weren't married. You know, so,
Okay.
and I'll maybe see a waving finger,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm like, she's going like this. So, like I said, sometimes I'll see them, but it's more of just the knowing and the way that they feel.
So you said you deal in love and light. Have you ever had anything like come through from the other side that tries to present itself as good or, light, but then isn't?
Once.
How did
Once.
that go?
So it was in the beginning of when
Mhm.
I was a medium, where my faith, my protection wasn't
Mhm.
probably as strong as what it needs to be. And this woman's mother came through, and Archangel Michael works with me a lot.
Mhm.
And I heard Michael say, back away from this bad juju. And I thought, how am I going to tell this daughter sitting in front of
Mhm.
me? Archangel Michael just told me I needed to back away from your mom because she's bad juju. So I was like, and she goes, just say it, just say it. So I said it as respectfully as I
Mhm.
could. And she said, that doesn't surprise me. We thought that she might have had multi-personal personality disorder. So that doesn't surprise me.
Oh,
Now, 5 or
Oh.
6 years
okay.
down the road, same woman came in, mom came in, and I was able to handle the situation. Now, whether mom had gone through and transitioned into what she needed to in spirit, or whether I was more protected, so I was only seeing the good part of it. But no, I am so protected that no negative juju gets into me.
That's good.
You say that's your scariest thing that you've had happen, or is there another hands out to you that you would say
As
was the scariest?
as far as negative, that was probably the scariest. I mean, I've had
Okay.
stuff that happens that I'm like, holy crap, you know. I've had my chair like pushed when I'm doing a reading, like, emphasizing the thing that
Mhm.
I'm saying. And that's always kind of a weird feeling where I'm saying, oh, I'm talking to so and so here. And they're saying you need to take care of your knee. Okay. And then my chair like tilted forward. And I'm like,
Oh, wow.
your mom's your mom's really pushing this. We were here at the shop at Hip Gypsy in the back room. And this woman's like, yeah, 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 I'll have my knee taken care of. Well, we had one of those little portable Harley Davidson grills that you can put in your saddlebags.
Mhm.
The lid fell off of that and hit the floor. And I said, your mom is really adamant about having your knee checked. So the woman ended up going to her doctor and found out she had this cancerous tumor behind her knee, but they had
No
caught it in
way.
time that they were able to
Nice.
get rid
Oh,
of it.
wow.
So that
Oh,
was a
wow.
little freaky because my chair tilted and the lid fell, and I'm like, holy crap,
Yeah. Wow.
you know.
That had to feel like amazing though. Like, you're literally helping channel.
Validated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the other
Yeah.
side is
Yeah.
literally just like shouting, like, get the knee checked. And then it
Knee.
turned out to
Yeah.
be a big thing. That's gotta feel great.
Yes. Well, and
Yeah.
the daughter was older than I was, but
Mhm.
she was just like, yeah, 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 I'll go. I'll go. And I could feel her energy. I'm not a go to the doctor girl unless it's like,
Mhm. Unless I
dire.
have to.
And she was just like, yeah. And mom told me again. And I'm like, mom's really emphasizing this. Yeah. And then when my chair moved and I had another person sitting like beside me, and I'm like, did you see that? And she's like, I did. And I said, listen, mom's really adamant about this. Like, you really need to do this. And she goes, okay. And then when that lid fell, and she goes, I'll make an appointment tomorrow. I'm like, that's all I need.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had weird things like that happen from time to time.
Love
well,
it.
yeah, always.
Yeah.
What's something that has stayed with you, like something that's just stayed with you since it happened, and it just I don't know, it just comes to the front of your mind, like whenever somebody asks you, hey, what's the wildest thing you've done, or what's the wildest thing that's happened to you?
Boy, there's a lot of things that have happened in intimate group reading. This is the one that was kind of like a aha moment. So usually when I do group readings, the majority of the audience is women. Sorry, JD, but men are skeptical. Men don't want to be vulnerable in front of a lot of people, and I get it.
I get that.
So
trust me.
Yes. So I had 9 women and 1 man in this reading because it was an intimate group reading. And he was sitting beside this woman, and I said to him, I've got this father figure in between the two of you. So I wasn't sure which person he was going to, since he was standing in between the two of them. And they could have been brother and sister. So I said to him, because I felt like I was going to him, and I said, would you understand a father who has passed? And he said, maybe. I said, okay. So I went to the woman on the other side. Would you understand a father who has passed? And she gave me the same kind of flippant answer. She was like, maybe. I said, all right, I've got a father figure standing in between the two of you. So I'm just going to talk to him, and I'm going to give you the information that he's giving me, and then we'll go from there. So I'm thinking skeptic, not a problem. I'm not there to prove anybody right or wrong.
Right.
I'm not going to, I'm just going to go with it. So I said, I feel like I'm really drawn to you. And I was talking to the gentleman there. And I said, he's telling me something very poignant happened to you at the age of 7. And he's saying that this would be something that you would remember, and that that I was the one that had to say to you, I'm sorry, but your father has passed. And I said, is there and I gave him a name that was not like Joe or Jim, or let's just say I said, Bubba. I said, is there a Bubba in your family? And the guy's just like, yeah, I have an Uncle Bubba. I said, your Uncle Bubba knows more about how your father has passed. But let me ask you, what happened around with the number 7? He said, my father abandoned us at 7 years, when I was 7 years old. And I haven't seen him since I was 7. And I was like, well, I'm very sorry to tell you, but your father has passed. And that the reason that he passed was to save you. And he just kind of like rolled his eyes. And I said, listen, I'm not wrong here. And I've never been like that boisterous about it. I usually say, look, take it or leave it. I said, I'm not wrong here.
Right.
Here's what happened. Your father got caught up with some people who weren't so nice in New York. And they were going to come after you. And instead, like getting the chills thinking about it, that I was sorry to say that his father had passed.
Right.
And that your Uncle Bubba, and of course that wasn't the guy's name, but I don't need to use their name.
Right.
Has more information about this, and knows that your father was tied up with someone who wasn't very nice. And he actually knows that your father has passed. And I could see what had happened to the father. And this was several years ago. And the father was dismembered. And now I'm to the point when they show me stuff like that, I'm like, I don't need to see it. Just tell me.
Yeah.
And I know, about where the water is, where the body was dumped. But I said to him, your father is very sorry for putting you through what he put you through, but he ultimately saved your life.
Wow.
So
Right.
the guy was like, I'm going to talk to my uncle about it. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you know,
Go
but
ahead.
Yeah.
it was one of those things that I just knew that I was not wrong. Sometimes if people don't agree or they can't take what I say, I'll say, you know what, I'll just give that to you, check with some of your family members,
Mm-hmm.
but it will make sense. But with this guy, I was like, I'm not wrong here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I remember like looking at him and then thinking, oh my God, I can't believe I was just that obnoxious with him.
Yeah.
And the girl that was sitting beside him was his wife. So she didn't really know his dad.
Oh, okay.
So that was why both of them, when I'm like, because he didn't know if his father had passed.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
her father was alive, but this would have been her father-in-law. So that was why the maybe.
Okay.
So
Wow.
that was one that stuck with me
That's
quite
Okay.
I
a lot.
bet that would. That's a
Yeah.
wild one. Also, I just gotta throw this out here. You kind of got like a chill when you were like just kind of trying to think of a nickname for like, you know, what to call him, and you said Bubba. That's interesting to me because like my mom, it was like one of her like random little nicknames she always called me when I was a kid. So it just, I don't know. It's just interesting
No
that.
coincidence.
All right,
Is your
I
mom
love
still
it.
here on this earth?
She is, yes.
Okay. Okay. I was gonna say if she had passed, oh, she's coming in. But no, I mean there's never any coincidences. I mean, why would
Yeah.
I say Baba?
I know. And I
You
was
know?
like, as soon as you said that, I was like, I was like, I immediately thought of my mom. Like, she still calls me that sometimes. Like, hey, Bubba. Like, you know, she's a nicknamer. So, but it was like, that was one of the ones. So,
Yeah. Cool.
Well, so I have had my own experiences with Stacey. I actually work with Stacey and her sister, Lori at Hip Gypsy Emporium, and it's in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania.
everybody check that out.
I have they're on Facebook too. I have taken a couple sessions with Stacey. I'm not somebody that puts a lot of my stuff on Facebook, like personal stuff. Like I talk about my kids and other stuff, but like things that, so I
You're
know
really
like
reserved.
I know that she's not picking up all that stuff. So,
Right.
she actually talked to me about a lot of things that I thought were really wild and added up for me. And it was quite an experience for me as somebody that was getting into spirituality and things like that, and opening my mind up to stuff. So I went in mildly skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
I actually went back to her and we did a past life regression. She also does those, which I think is very humbling to do for yourself. It opens your eyes a little bit for things that make you tick now to do that. I again went in thinking, you know, I don't know. But there were things that I could see and I was walking through that I wouldn't have come up with on my own, and she was not feeding me that information either. So it's really eye-opening. So I don't know if you want to talk other things that you offer, like your healing sessions. I know we're kind of zeroing in on the mediumship, but I know you have a lot of broad things that you like to dip into and you do for people if you wanted to talk about
Well,
any of those.
the main thing I do is evidential mediumship. And the reason I say evidential medium, the continuity of life. So I just don't say, if I have someone in front of me, me looking at them based on their age, they probably have a mother or a grandmother in spirit, and, oh, and she loves you very much and she's okay. I'm going to say to you things like, I have this mother figure in spirit. She's touching my heart, which lets me know she passed of a heart attack. I'm hearing the word violet. I don't know if violet was her name or if violets were flowers or if she really liked purple, if that type of thing, but she definitely feels like a mother figure to you. Does that resonate with you? And then, we would go, well, no, my mom's still alive. Okay, what about your mother-in-law? No, mother-in-law's okay. Well, let me keep going. Now, as she's showing me this, she's showing me that you were connected kind of at the hip with her daughter. Oh, I understand now. So, do you have a best friend whose mom was like a mother to you? Oh my God, yes, I do. So, I'm I'm not generic when I do readings. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of mediums out there that go fishing. I try my hardest not to go fishing because anybody could do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean I've studied with several of the top mediums that are out there. I've done a 2-year mediumship with spirit artist Joe Shield. I've taken classes with John Holland. I'm leaving on Friday to study with Tony Stockwell, which I'm so excited about. So that's my main thing. I
Mhm.
do energy work as well, but not as much as what I used to do. Like I don't lay you out on a table now and do energy, which is similar to Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you I'm trying to think of the right way to say this without being offensive or sounding cold. But let's say you have a loved one who is in the hospital who can no longer communicate.
Mm-hmm.
I can go into the
Okay.
hospital and talk to their energy and get messages from them to give to you. I
Wow.
did that for a woman several years ago. And I'm like, oh my God, all this woman is talking about is, and I think, I don't remember what the dog's name was, but it was like Pinky or Punky or something. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what is this? What is this? She goes, that's her dog. I said, she's worried about her dog. And the sister was like, we'll take care of your dog. Your dog is fine, and I'm moving energy around. And, I said to him, I'm like, look, this has happened to, your family member a couple of times. She's really tired. Um, it's your decision, but she's ready is kind of the thing.
Okay.
Well, the loved one was saying to me, oh my God, should we have waited 2 days and then they could have gone the same day? And I'm like, nope, she would have been there waiting for the dog. So I do that type of
Yeah.
energy plus past life regressions, which you've talked about. And I also mentor students into opening up to what their abilities are. We all have some
Okay.
sort of specialty that we can do.
Mm-hmm.
you know
Okay.
it's just trusting and believing in it and then working with it in the proper way, I guess is a good way to say it, because everything can be good and bad.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
it all depends. If you
There's
ever
always two
ever
sides of the
ever
coin.
Mm-hmm.
if you ever go to a medium and they say, oh, you have this attachment to you that's negative, and if you come back 2 or 3 more times and I can get run.
Yeah.
Well, that was actually something I was going to ask you because you touched on about how like some will like go fishing and I'm not a skeptic whatsoever. So like I'm one that
Yay.
like I'm easy like I not even remotely a skeptic. I want to believe. Like I want to believe. But so like, what are some other like if someone because like a lot of times when someone is going to a medium, they're obviously they're looking for some kind of answers. They're definitely in a vulnerable state. What are some other things like that you could like for people
Red
that are
flags.
that's what I'm going like to avoid when they're like trying like when they're like selecting a psychic to work with.
Well, I always tell people, you know, ask your friends, ask your family members. Somebody in your friend circle, in your family has gone to a medium.
Mm-hmm.
What was your experience? Go to their website, look at their reviews.
Mm-hmm.
If you Google
Mm-hmm.
me, you're going to see a lot of stuff that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
If the reviews are bad, if people say to you, well, I went to her, but some of the stuff wasn't or him, you can go and try but always have an open mind, because there are times skeptics will walk through my door
Mm-hmm.
and I can't do a reading for them because they're closed.
Yeah, they're
Right.
not open at all to the experience and to letting
Yeah,
it in.
exactly. That doesn't happen often. It's probably in my 10 years, it's maybe happened 3 times.
Oh wow.
where I was just
Okay.
like, you know what, I can't do a reading for you. Let me just give you your money back and you can leave. And
Oh,
I'm not the medium for you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
If a
That's
medium
cool.
says to you, your loved one can talk through me to help you make financial decisions. No,
Get out of there.
because
No.
my especially if the person is grieving, all
Mhm.
they want is that link to their loved
Mhm.
one.
Mhm.
Normally, I tell my clients to wait at least 30 days before, after their loved one has passed, before you have a reading.
Let it
Okay.
kind of
Me,
settle in, let it marinate, like get over your
exactly.
emotional stress
You're
a
Yeah.
little bit, or
grieving.
start to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're grieving. Plus, your loved one is transitioning.
Mhm.
They're building their energy
Mhm.
up to come in. Now, I have done a few readings where it's been a day or two after the loved one has passed. But usually this person has been ill for a long period of time and,
Mhm.
was
Okay.
already kind of transitioning.
Preparing
Um,
for it, and yeah.
or yes, or let's just say dad's been gone for 12, 14 years, or even a year, let's just say, and
Mhm.
mom has just passed. I can connect with dad and then basically say, Dad, go get mom. And because of his energy, now there's never any guarantees. I don't want to
Right.
say it. If a medium ever guarantees you they can bring someone in, that's another red
So that's
flag.
another red flag right there. Okay.
Okay.
You know, that's
Because they're their own
another red
people
flag.
too, even though they're past. They have their own.
They got their stuff to do, and what if they don't have anything to
Yeah.
say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe
Sometimes silence
they
is
just
better.
maybe they're just like kind of in life they were a little bit rough around the edges and they stayed that way on the other
Yeah.
side.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
they're going to be how they are in spirit, how they were
Mhm.
on this earth. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'll have somebody come through and I'll say, for instance, I have this man standing here. He kind of has his hands crossed, like his arms are
Mhm.
folded. And he looks like he's in like Carhartt bibs with his hat way down, but I can't get him to talk to me. So
Mhm.
he's showing me like a little girl beside him, which makes me feel like you're his daughter. So let me ask you, has your father passed, and was he a man of very few words? So if he was a man of very few words, that's why it's hard for me to get him to talk. So I'm going to ask him to
Okay.
show me memories of the two of you. So it's not that dad doesn't want to talk to you.
Mhm.
It's just he never really said much in life.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I guess you wouldn't
know
just like
that's
have a
something
new
that-
personality on the
Yeah.
other side, like.
Right. Right. When I die, if a medium would ever bring me through to one of my kids and say, oh, you know what? She was a very reserved, quiet person that liked bland colors and hated jewelry. My kids would be like, honey,
That's not her.
you know what I mean? That's not her.
As soon as you said bland person, I was like, yeah, okay.
Oh, she had really short hair. No.
Not the
No.
one. Not the one.
They're gonna be
No,
they're gonna
no.
be the same here on in spirit than they were here on earth. As I'm saying it though, I am reminded if someone here on this earth struggled with depression or addictions and chose to leave this world of their own doing or overdose,
Mhm.
they're not going to be how do I say that, they're going to be what their personality was like before that happened.
Mm.
So they're
Yeah.
not going to come through to me kind of sketchy, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? They're not going to come through to
Yeah.
me sad and you know if it, they're going to be who you
They're not going to
remember
be
that they were.
clouded. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
Stacey, where can people look you up on the interwebs? And I know you do Tuesday talks at 10:30 on Facebook, your page,
Yes.
where you give
Yes.
some guidance for people about different topics.
Correct.
Where can people look you up? and
So
check you out.
everything is under Connecting to Spirit with Stacey. My webpage, my YouTube, my Spotify, my Facebook, Instagram, but I'm growing Instagram. So if you go in there and you only see like there's 25 posts, that's because user error.
Our Instagram is still a
we're
baby
working on
page
it.
too. It's the same thing. We're just working. It's all DIY.
Yeah, I got some stuff on TikTok, but again, not a whole lot. I mean, everything, my page and my group on on Facebook, social media, Connecting to Spirit with Stacey, that's where you're going to find everything about me. But you
Okay.
can Google my name and you'll see, you'll see where you can get the books, and you'll see other interviews or other write-ups and things like that on me, and the reviews and things. So I'm sometimes
and
a
I know
little
you've
too
written 2
accessible.
books, right?
Yes, ma'am.
2 books? Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And
So
what do those center around?
Okay. So I have My Head Knows, But My Heart Still Hurts. And this is a 30-day grief recovery journal. And I wrote this because most of my clients would say to me, I'm so afraid I'm going to forget. Or when my mom was here. This gives you pages that you can write memories so you can remember what you had, creating a memoir for future generations. And I have
that.
like, I have little God winks in here. So I'll tell like my story about something. There's a page on here about the firsts, because the firsts are always the hardest. The first birthday, the first anniversary of their passing, the first Christmas. So you can kind of write them a letter if you want to, or put a memory about, oh my gosh, I remember Christmas when we did such and such and so and so. There's parts in here that are about songs and signs, because spirit is very energetic. So a lot of times they'll send you songs, because they can get in the airwaves. There's a part on here about mantras. After you lose someone, you wake up in the morning and maybe you don't know what even you can even think about. So I have a mantra. It's August, it's Wednesday. So, my mantra for Wednesday, February, March, hold on, May, June, July, August. So the mantra for Wednesday, you're working on your solar plexus. So your mantra is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So when you feel like your mind is like spiraling out of control, you just stop and you think about that, but it's this handy dandy book that helps people to, like I said, put a memoir together.
I love the
And then
idea
my
that
other
that totally moved me. Like that actually, like the idea of just having that, like to create that like little guidebook of like to not forget.
Space.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny how when I was writing the book, so many things came up for me that I had forgotten. So in essence, while I was writing this, it was helping me walk through the grieving process of, when my father-in-law passed, or when, I have 2 best friends who have passed, and just remembering stories about them and thinking, oh my God, I totally forgot about that shit,
I love that.
and
That's
it
cool.
brings it back up. So it helped me to walk through it as well. And then I've got my crystal addiction diary, which is a way that you can categorize your stones and your crystals if you're a collector. So it's
Love
got,
it.
just pages that you can have the picture of it, why you bought it, where you bought it. Is it toxic? Can I use it for moon water? What oils will it pair with? Why did I buy this? How do I feel 30 days after I bought it? And it just gives you a way to be able to categorize it. Maybe you pick up a stone and you go, oh my God, I can't remember what this stone is. Well, I give you a little way that you can put, a little dot on the bottom of it. This is number 2. I go to number 2. Oh, number 2 is such and such. So it's great for new stone collectors. I have some stuff in the beginning that has like your stone, but there's so many books out there on the actual stones that I didn't feel like I needed to do a full stone guide book, because I don't know all the stones. But this is an issue I've had, and I've always categorized my stones. That's one thing I'm a little anal about. And I'm like, oh, I could do this. So I have those 2 books. I'm working on 2 other books, possibly 3 if I can talk my husband into the 3rd. And I'm working on an oracle deck as well.
That's awesome.
Oracle deck would be cool.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I've got
I
that
love
about
it.
halfway done.
And you carry all these things at the store, and her stones at the store are even very well categorized, I will say.
Yes. Yes. I try. I try.
Yes. And you mentioned an oracle deck. I know a lot of people are more knowledgeable or think they know more about tarot cards. Can you explain the difference between a tarot deck and an oracle deck, and why an oracle deck speaks maybe more to you?
Yeah, well, everybody has different energy and different things that they need to do. I know a lot of very good tarot readers, so I don't want you to feel like I'm saying, "Oh, don't do tarot." It's
No.
just not, it doesn't click with me. I don't have the understanding for it.
Right.
If I pull up a 7 of Cups and it's in this position, it means this, but if it's in this position, it means I can't, my brain doesn't work that way. But if I pull a card that says serenity and I'm looking at this, I know what serenity means. And then I'm listening to what they're telling me about serenity. Oh, I feel like kind of your serenity is getting kind of gobbled up a little bit here. They're showing me these, oh goodness, they're talking to me. They're showing me like these wavelengths that are kind of up and down, almost like a heartbeat. And it's just letting me know everything's kind of staticky. Thank you. It's kind of staticky in your life right now. And you need to just find that peace and serenity around you. And I feel like this is for you, Ashley. I mean, do you understand that? Do you feel like there's a lot of static around you right now? A lot of noise?
I think either one of us could.
Okay.
That's a fact.
Okay. All right. So when I pulled that
one
instantly, like my
point.
guides were taking me. I
Yeah.
could see your face, Ashley. So that's why I just assumed that this was for you.
Okay.
But with the tarot deck, like I said, depending on the position, whether it's masculine or feminine or what it means, and like I said, I've had awesome tarot readers do readings for me, and I'm thinking, holy crap, how'd they do that? How'd they know? It just doesn't click with me. But I have, my energy deck that I do, and I do have like a tarot oracle deck that I use. So I'm kind of cheating in a little bit of a way where I lean more towards the oracle, but it's helping me to learn tarot. And then my angel or energy cards, I use all different types of things. So I don't know if I explained that or not.
No,
but
that makes sense to me.
Angel cards, you're talking to your angels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oracle cards, this is a better way. Oracle cards could be angels, guides, ascended masters. Energy is your energy. So your guides and my guides are giving me information about your energy. Tarot cards are the oldest form of reading from, I don't even know, like the 1600s.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
There's certain places that, so it talks about different things that way. I wish I understood tarot more so I could give you a better explanation, but you can see I'm like dyslexic when it comes to tarot, but there are good tarot card readers out there. So, like I said, I don't want you to think that I'm saying, oh, I don't do tarot. It's not that. No. It just doesn't click with me.
I just wanted to know why, like, the oracles speak more to you. That's your vibe. That's what you work better with. Not saying that tarot's bad, but that tends to be where you go with your decks. Correct. And I know with your readings, you normally pull cards just for people during the readings, so that it kind of gives you like where you're going to go with this, and it gives them a little bit of a vibe for what you're doing, and opens the door per se, because I know that's what you did for me. I don't know if JD or you would be up for it, but would you be willing to pull a couple cards for JD if he's feeling it?
I have my cards sitting in front of me.
So, I'm down.
JD,
let's do it.
You feeling it?
I'm feeling it. Let's do it.
So I've got my energy deck, my angel deck, and then I do the tarot. It's not the tarot, but it's the oracle tarot deck. So the energy would be based on, let's say you have a specific question about something. I'm connecting with your energy and I'm telling you where it's going.
Okay.
Short and sweet. The angel deck tells me past, present, future, your path, and your challenge. So it's already connected with your energy. And it just said where your challenge is and how you can overcome that challenge. And then I do this pyramid draw where it tells me things that are coming up, but then the last card tells me this is what you really need to start with. So what do you have a specific question, or do you want me just to do an angel, I don't want to say a basic, just an angel reading of past, present, future?
Let's do that.
Okay. All right. So let me just shuffle my cards here. And I use these cards a lot, so they know me. This is for JD. So the only bad thing about doing this on Zoom when I do readings with people through Zoom is you don't see the cards as I'm laying them out, but I will show it to you.
Okay.
Oh, I love
It'll be a surprise.
Yeah.
Like a little special gift for JD.
Yeah, I know
Special
there's
treat.
a way to like have another camera over top of it, but technology is not my friend.
Oh, we're right there with you sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
Yeah. Okay, so like I said, I'm doing past, present, future, your path, and your challenge. I read them forward as well as backward, because sometimes when you read them backward, it makes more sense. Like, oh my God, now I see it. Not all mediums or psychics will do it that way because they just feel like the draw is the draw. But I feel like there's more of an explanation needed. Okay. So for the past, they're showing me music. And music is vibrational. So when it's showing in the past, either you've gotten away from music, listening to music, surrounding yourself with music, or your vibration is down a little bit. So they're calling you back into music. So if you're a musician and you haven't picked up your guitar, you haven't picked something up lately, they're like saying, okay, JD, it's time for you to like pick it up and get this vibration going. Does that make sense to you?
There was a time before I got into podcasting that I wanted to be in a band. I've literally got my bass sitting right here. I haven't picked it up in years.
Okay. So they're calling you back to this. Okay.
All right.
So the present, this is cool. And if you see me looking off to the, it's probably right for you, but if you're seeing me look off to the left, this is where my angels and guides come in.
Oh, okay.
So for the present, they're showing me that your ideas and inspirations are supported by your guides and your angels. So what this is letting me know, there's the chills. What this is letting me know is all of a sudden, like ideas are popping for you. Like you're thinking in directions is what they're showing me. And know that you're very well supported in the spiritual realm. And what they're showing me is you don't always feel like the human realm has your back because they don't completely understand where your mind goes or where your trail is going. Oh my God, this is so funny. I don't know if mom always dreamed that you were going to be a doctor or a dentist, but they're saying put the scalpel down and go on the path that you need to go. So I'm not sure what the scalpel is. Oh, I get it. So cutting things away. So putting the scalpel down. So this is not really self-sabotage for yourself. This is self-doubt. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So they're saying that your ideas and inspirations are supported by your guides and your angels. So have more confidence within yourself.
Okay.
All right. So the future is showing me that healing is coming in for you. And the healing it doesn't seem like it's physical healing. It doesn't feel like there's a shoulder or anything like that, but it just feels almost like there's a heaviness that you just kind of like need to release. So whether this is a relationship that has been disconnected from, whether it's family or friend that's been weighing heavy on you, you just kind of, you have to breathe through it. Okay.
Okay. Wow.
The path to that is through divine timing and harmony. So divine timing is that explanation point. Thank you. At the end of the sentence, you are exactly where you need to be right now. You have gone through the things that you needed to go through to be where you're at right now. It has been divinely timed for your own harmony. Okay. So we had music in the past. Remember that. Harmony, music. Harmony is also how you feel within yourself. Your challenge is balance. Finding balance.
Wow.
So if you have a lot of projects up in the air, a lot of things that you're not really sure, like, oh my, like, there's times I get overwhelmed because I've got this women's retreat coming up in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. I have these 2 books that I'm working on. I've got my readings that I do. I've got the shop that I'm doing. I've got, I do have a family, and it's sometimes I get overwhelmed with that. So I have to stop and say, okay, what do I want to accomplish today? And if that's still overpowering, I say, what can I accomplish in the next hour? And then I'll go to the second hour, so that I'm zeroing in and I'm finding balance within myself. So once you start working on balance, okay, that's when harmony comes in.
Okay.
Because when you don't have balance, we're edgy. We might snap when we shouldn't be snapping, because I get too much stuff on my mind, like, don't bother me right now. Okay. Balance, harmony through your healing, that your ideas and inspiration. So remember, we talked about the
Mhm.
self I don't want to say sabotage, but it's self-confidence.
Yeah.
Okay. So this healing, so someone told you somewhere along the lines that you couldn't, and it's still that little voice in your head. So you're healing through that, realizing that you've got the support of creator, of your guides, of your angels, that the people that will need to be in your path will be brought into your path. And it all starts with your vibration and music, and maybe picking that bass up and just, meditating with that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Wow. That
It is fun to watch JD's mind blow live and in person.
Makes sense, eh?
That was cool.
Gave me straight up chills. That was amazing.
Good. Wasn't me, it was them.
Wow.
That
I
is
really appreciate
cool.
you channeling that. That was incredible.
Absolutely. Is there somebody that's connected with you that has a DW name, like Dwight or Dwayne, or their first name is a D and their last is a W, that would be in spirit? Or
I do know a Dwight, but he's like
Okay.
a family friend of my parents.
Okay.
I
Okay.
haven't talked to him in a while though.
Okay. For some reason, when your guides were coming in, I heard this Dwight. It was a Dewa name. So I don't know why they were calling it to my attention, since I was just dealing with angels. He may be one of, like, your earthly guides or mentors or angels here that they were calling him in, or you may have a guide named Dwight or Dwayne. I don't know.
I'll have to think on that a little bit. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it was over. And like I said, it was over here. So this is my guides and my angels. If I would have heard it coming in from this direction, I would have known it was a spirit. I have that set up for myself. I didn't explain this earlier. I should have. Because when spirit and angels talk to me, I couldn't always decipher who was talking to me.
Right.
So if it's spirit, I ask that they, like, talk in my right ear or pull me to this direction. And when it's my guides, like, they're pulling me over the here. So that's why, you'll see me looking to one side, or if I'm doing a reading where I'm looking to another side, that's just something that I set up for them. So
That makes sense. Wow. That was amazing.
well, good. I'm glad
We
I'm
really
glad it made sense to you. Pick that guitar up, that bass up.
Yeah.
I think I need to. That
Mhm.
I'm like looking at it right now. It's kind of calling to me. So
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming a bit about the things and
Yeah.
making believers out of our people.
Absolutely.
Because I know
Absolutely.
you've made a believer out of me.
100%. I was a
For
believer to
sure.
start. So
Well, good. I'm glad.
So
I'm glad. There is, this is not our last stop on this train.
I truly
You know?
believe that. I
Was
don't know
it's
what's
not
on the
our
other side,
first?
but I truly believe that.
Yeah, a better understanding.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that is amazing. Stacey, thank you again so
thank
much
you for joining us.
yeah. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. We're gonna have for everybody at home links to everything for Stacey in the episode description, so you'll be able to find that. So if you like what you're hearing, make sure that you leave a review. We know that we can do it on Spotify now. We finally figured that out. Leave one on Apple for us. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to leave a comment. And if you want to email the show, it's weirdwidepodcast@gmail.com. And make sure to go to Weird Wide's official home on the interwebs. It's going to be www.weirdwide.com. Have every episode. You can sign up for our newsletter, get episodes sent directly to you. Ashley, do you happen to have a dad joke ready to go?
Oh, how do you weigh? How do you weigh? How do you weight of a red hot chili pepper? You give it away, give it away, give it away now.
Give it away, give it away, give it away now.
Yes. Stacey is unimpressed.
Yeah,
but that's
okay.
all right.
It's okay.
Hey,
that's the point.
I live with the king of the dad jokes.
Oh yeah.
I do. Do you know
That's
what
true.
David Lee Roth's favorite bingo number is?
Oh, hold on. I feel like I should know. I don't know. I don't.
I feel like I should know this too.
Before.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. We've had
Absolutely.
fun.
We have had a blast. We've had an absolute blast. And everybody at home, stay weird.